happy Wednesday, and welcome to Creators of Clean Live, our weekly conversation about everything the clean industry. We here at Beautycounter, we are doing mission work, we are doing advocacy, we are formulating safer products, always trying to identify better ingredients for you and your family. So it's really important for us here to have these conversations so you are better equipped and better informed to, make better decisions for your everyday personal care and the products that you use. But today we have a very special edition. We are talking everything advocacy. As you know, here at Beautycounter, advocacy is one of our main pillars. We not only formulate and sell amazing beauty products, but we also advocate on the behalf of people in the US and in Canada for safer laws and regulations when it comes to these ingredients that we're using every day. So we are in for a treat because today we have a very special person from the Beautycounter headquarters. Tassie Hogan will be joining us. And let me tell you a bit about her and let her in. I see her coming on, wants to be. I got to tell you the pedigree and what Tassie really comes with. So Tassie is the Director of Advocacy, and I'm going to read it because I don't want to miss a thing. Hey, Tassie.
Hey, good to see you.
Great to see you. So I'm going to tell everyone a little bit about your background because you really do come with, some great experience, and so your knowledge is unmatched. So Tassie here is the Director of Advocacy for Beautycounter, and in her role, Tassie leads Beautycounter's government affairs across both US and Canada, advocacy campaigns for health and environmental protective legislation, and partnerships with mission-aligned nonprofits and associations. But prior to Beautycounter, Tassie served as a lobbyist and a public affair advisor to various clients across health, sustainability, tourism sectors, and held leadership positions on over 20 political campaigns at the federal, state, and local levels. Tassie, you're amazing. And guess what, my friend?
Very tiring.
Very tiring. Well, you look great doing it. So.
It's the Beautycounter.
And just finally, I just want to note that she was also, based on all of this great work that Tassie has done, she has been named and in Influence Magazine Rising Star and the Business Journal's 40 Under 40. She serves on the U.S. Global Leadership Coalition's Advisory Committee and is a member of the LA Junior League, Women Investing for a Sustainable Economy, and Women in Corporate Social Responsibility. Tassie, I feel like I can go on and on. That's amazing.
Oh, thanks, Adriana. It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of
The
course.
last time I jumped on here, we had some tech issues. So I don't know if anyone who's on here right now has had tech issues doing a live or a Zoom call, but you're always worried that you're not going to get invited back. I was like, I don't know. Maybe I missed my shot.
But no, not you and not here with us. You are in good hands, and we are about to get into a really great conversation. So Tassie, I know that just recently the California Assembly Bill 496 was just passed. Now, can you tell everyone on here exactly what does this bill mean? Because I think we hear a lot of these kind of bills, but it's like, what does this mean? And what does it really mean for beauty brands that are selling product in the US?
Yeah. Thank you for that question. So as Adriana said, I'm our Director of Advocacy. And so I have the privilege of working with our community of brand advocates, our clients, across the US and Canada on health protective and environmental protective legislation. And I have good news. 2023 has been a phenomenal year for us and for our movement. And we've actually influenced the passage of 4 bills this year. And the bill that Adriana just asked about is our most recent bill that was actually just signed by California Governor Newsom in October, so just last month. And it marks the passage of our 15th piece of legislation legislation that we've influenced. So I always like to say, if you're on here and if you've ever taken one of our text actions, if you've ever held a meeting with your lawmaker through Beautycounter, please give yourself a round of applause. This work matters, and our advocacy work is incredibly effective. But I'll start by saying California has really led the way in passing safer cosmetics laws. So, for example, in 2020, we worked with our nonprofit partner, Breast Cancer Prevention Partners, to pass the California Toxic Free Cosmetics Act. And that was a bill that banned harmful ingredients that none of us want in our personal care products. So it banned ingredients like mercury and formaldehyde, which, yes, are legal and can be can be used in personal care products across the country. It banned those from being included in personal care products. Last year, there was also a bill in California that banned intentionally added PFAS in cosmetics that we were proud to support. But as it relates to this bill specifically that just passed last month, it expands California's existing list of ingredients and bans an additional 26 harmful ingredients like basic violet 4 and basic blue 3 from personal care products. And it goes into effect January 1st, 2027.
Wow.
It's worth noting that these chemicals have been linked to health and environmental harms, and all of these chemicals have been banned in the European Union, and they are also all on Beautycounter's Never List. So we have our Never List of over 2,800 questionable or harmful ingredients that we never use, and so all of the chemicals in this bill are on our Never List. But if you're on this call and you don't live in California and you're like, well, why does this matter to me, right? I don't live in California, so I probably shouldn't care. There are actually two really important things here. So first, California is the United States' largest economy, and it's also the fifth largest economy in the world, which means that a new law like this can influence the consumer landscape, not only of California, but for the rest of the nation. And then another key thing here is that unless a cosmetics company wants to formulate a California specific ingredient that's compliant in California, they will just have to reformulate all of their products sold across the US, right? I'm not a supply chain person, but if just telling me right now, oh, you're going to have to formulate a California specific product, and then the other 49 states and the territories get an additional product, that just sounds like a nightmare to me. So those are two really important pieces of this law. If you're wondering, well, why does this matter? Because I don't live in California.
So you're saying that a bill like this, it triggers, so the work that Beautycounter does and brand advocates do, talking, amplifying this message, why it's so important, but then a bill passing like this is just kind of like the stepping stone for it to go to the federal level.
Exactly. The federal government is a behemoth, and so I'll talk about our federal work in a second, but our state work is incredibly important. And oftentimes, what you will see is when California passes one piece of legislation, not just clean beauty legislation, a whole host of legislation, states follow, right? So oftentimes you'll see states like Colorado, Oregon, Washington follow. So that's a really important thing to note about California passing these laws as well.
That's amazing. So speaking of things that are on a larger level, we are coming up on the 1 year anniversary of the passing of MOCRA. So talk to us a little bit about why that is such a historical moment, and also what does that mean for the everyday person, something like that.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you for that question. So this December will mark the 1 year anniversary of the Modernization of Cosmetics Regulation Act, but you'll hear us refer to it as MOCRA. And this bill was so important, it passed at the federal level with bipartisan support, and it was the first significant update to federal cosmetics laws in over 84 years. So just think about that, right? The science has changed. We use thousands of chemicals in our products, and the laws at the federal level remained unchanged for 84 years.
Wow.
And so there are a lot of very important provisions in MOCRA, and all of them Beautycounter had been advocating for since our inception over 10 years ago. So some of these are very basic things that most consumers didn't even realize the Food and Drug Administration, which oversees cosmetics, that they didn't even have the ability to do. So one of the most basic things is mandatory recall authority, right? So prior to this bill, the FDA didn't have mandatory recall authority of a cosmetic product, even if it was known to cause harm. So an example I always like to think about was, and I forget when it was, but there was an article on CNN about asbestos discovered in children's makeup. And the FDA didn't have the ability to recall those products like they can with food. So that's one of the key provisions in MOCRA. There are also provisions that require cosmetic companies to register with the FDA, to report products and ingredients to the FDA, and to adopt good manufacturing practices. So it's, very positive all around. And while some of these provisions may seem like very basic things, again, the laws remained unchanged for 84 years. So this December, we will be celebrating the 1 year anniversary, applauding all of our brand advocates who took action, who have gone to DC with us, who have emailed their legislators, right? Because this absolutely is something that should be celebrated. But we also know that the hard work continues and that our work is not done.
It's so true. So then, speaking of work not done, and as we move into the future, I mean, on a different note, Beautycounter, we are in the midst of our holiday season. We just launched a beautiful holiday collection.
Yes, I love it.
I know, right? Super cute. But as someone on our mission, advocacy team, what would you say are a few of the main reasons why someone should consider gifting Beautycounter to their loved ones? Why does it matter? Why our gift set versus another gift set?
Sure. That's a great question. Well, I'll preface this by saying I have personally now purchased all 14 of our gift sets. It's getting a little ridiculous. No. I love it. It's just funny because I feel like every time the mail comes, the mailman is like, Beautycounter again? And I'm like, yes, Beautycounter again, of course. No, but I think, Beautycounter is a mission-based company. I was going to say a lot of people on this call may know this already, but maybe not. And our mission is to get safer products into the hands of everyone. So what I would say is when you shop with Beautycounter, you can feel good knowing that you're buying clean, safer, and effective products, but that you're also buying from a company that dedicates an incredible amount of resources to advancing its mission and to getting safer products into the hands of everyone. And we do that through our safety, through our sustainability, and our advocacy. And again, there are 14 sets. There's something special about all of them, but just a few that I want to call out now before we jump into our holiday sets for today's call. But for example, I just bought the Clean Perfume Duo for some of my family and friends for the holidays. And I feel good about it because I know that the product has been assessed against 23 environmental and health endpoints to deliver this amazing fragrance. Both of them smell so good, and they're safe, right? And an added bonus is that it's sustainable, right? Our vials that they come in are glass vials. They're recyclable through our Pact Collective partnership. And so I feel good about it. Another one that I love, and I'll stop at this one because otherwise we'll be on here for 5 hours, is the Shimmer and Glow Duo. I'm a huge fan of highlighter. Like, I just love having that glow, especially in the winter months when I feel like I can look a little pale. But our talc-free highlighting powder is formulated without talc, which is a mineral that can contain asbestos, right? A known human carcinogen. And so those are just some of the special things about our gift sets. And, you can feel good knowing that Beautycounter doesn't just talk the talk, but we also walk the walk.
Clearly. And that is, it's not only, to your point, it's not only that you're gifting a beautiful gift. I mean, look, I have them displayed back here. They're so super cute. Great products, but that it is going towards a larger mission that at the end of the day is supporting us, our families, for generations, truly, you
Oh,
know. And
exactly.
it's,
Exactly.
yeah, it's important work. So let me ask you one final question, Tasi. I know you are a super busy woman doing your thing, but you know, what's next from an advocacy standpoint? I know you're working on your 2024 strategies. You're doing, you know, getting ready for the end of the year. What's next?
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, I think the most important thing is continuing our education and outreach of lawmakers. So, something that you hear a lot from lawmakers is, and from our advocates as well, is 10 years ago, I didn't know anything about clean beauty. And now all of a sudden, we're going into meetings with lawmakers, and the issue is they're familiar with the issue, right? Not
Mhm.
100% of them, but we go
Mhm.
into a meeting and they say, oh, you know what? I actually read an article about harmful chemicals in personal care products. Or, oh, I remember I met with a Beautycounter brand advocate, 2 years ago when you guys were in DC. We're starting to hear that, but we need to continue our outreach and our education. So, we're very proud that our community has held close to 2,500 meetings with lawmakers. We've sent over 240,000 emails to lawmakers, right? So continuing that outreach in 2024 will be key. The FDA is implementing MOCRA as we speak. And so at the federal level, we'll really focus in on that, focus our advocacy work around MOCRA, ensuring the FDA is implementing it, providing our feedback and our comments where appropriate. And then also, due to MOGRA, the hard work of banning harmful chemicals really now falls to the states. So we'll be tracking a lot of state legislation as well this year. So be on the lookout, anyone on this live, be on the lookout for text actions to take, for meetings to join, because we've seen a lot of momentum, and I think it's going to be a really good 2024.
That's amazing. Tasi, thank you so much. And I think to your point, these little things, even a simple text message, can ladder up into something huge. So I just want everyone to know, don't think that you can't affect things, because everyday regular people, Tasi herself is out there doing the work, having these conversations, and truly making a difference, even at the federal level. Like, who knew? Tasi's over there, DC, at Parliament in Canada. It's really an amazing work that you're doing, Tasi. So thank you so much, and
Thank
thank
you.
you for sharing your information,
Yeah,
and
of
how
course.
we
Thanks for having me.
you know what, one last thing. How can people, you were saying the text action, just one last thing, how can people do something small? What's a text that they can do to
Oh,
make
yes,
a difference?
that's a great question. So if you want to take action, text Better Beauty to 52886, and it'll text you back a link that'll take you to a form where you can reach out to your member of Congress today, urging them to support health protective legislation. It's super easy. It takes 30 seconds. Or if you want to customize the email to your member of Congress, you can also do that. You can take a few minutes to customize it. It's really, really great. Again, Better Beauty to 52886. And if you're interested in learning more about our advocacy work, reading a little bit more about the California bill we talked about, you can also go to beautycounter.com/blog. And that's where all of our updated advocacy news is, where you can learn about all of the pieces of legislation we're currently supporting and bills that we've helped pass this year and previously as well.
And you're a blog writer on the side. What do you not do, Tasi? Okay, well, thank you everyone for joining us, and thank you, Tasi, again. And we will be back next week for another edition of Creators of Clean. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thanks, Tasi.